Hey everyone, it's Ryan back to my Valentine's Day themed videos. Today I did chocolate covered strawberries using like magic shell. So I made the magic shell and I also put it on some ice cream. So it is the perfect little thing for chocolate covered strawberries or to top ice cream, to put in a shake, whatever you want to do, coat something, some other form of whatever you wanted. So yeah, stick around. Okay, to start out with, I have my induction burner here. Again, if you didn't see this on one of my more recent videos, this is just from IKEA. Um, it is just something that I got so that I could do some stuff over here at the counter rather than having to keep go back and forth between the um, cooktop and here. So in my pot, I have, oh, forgot I gotta put it back on there. I have just a very small amount of water in there. You want to make sure that when you put your bowl, so we're doing a double boiler, you want to make sure when you put your bowl in there that the water doesn't touch the bottom of your bowl. And then in the bowl, we are going to add 1.5 cups or around 260 grams or 9 ounces of, I'm using semi-sweet chocolate. You could use whatever kind of chocolate that you want to either use for your strawberry coating or your coating for your ice cream. Um, so like I said, I'm using semi-sweet today. And then to that, we are going to add 1/4 cup of coconut oil. And the coconut oil, because it is solid at room temperature, as you can see, that is what helps create that shell. So it does give just a tiny bit of like a coconut flavor, but it's nothing. I'm not someone that truly loves a coconut flavor, but it's very slight, it's subtle. Try it, see what you think. If you don't like it, then there are other things that you can use to make this. Um, but obviously, in this video, this is how I'm going to show you how to make it. So we're just going to let that sit here and melt. And while this is melting, I already did this, but you could go ahead and get your strawberries. You want your strawberries to be clean, so just wash them under water, but you also really want them to be dry so that they don't make your chocolate seize. So I washed them and then I patted them dry with a paper towel. Try to be very careful with your leaves. I do try to sort of make them fluff to the top so it's easier for dipping. Um, but be careful with your leaves because you do want to sort of have those to hold on to while you are dipping. You could use some skewers or toothpicks in the top if your leaves do fall off. Um, it's very easy. So yeah, I'm going to set these off to the side. And then while this is melting, I am going to get um, just a little sheet pan with some wax paper on it. So I am going to turn this down just a little because it is really, be careful lifting the bowl off because of the steam, but it is boiling pretty good under there. So I'm going to just mix this up a little bit. You don't want the outsides of your bowl to get too hot and scorch the chocolate. And we really want that coconut oil to melt in here. Okay, so now I'm going to get out a bowl for my ice cream and a scoop. Just trying to get everything together while this is melting. I am taking my spatula and pressing it against the bottom to try and smash some of that remaining chocolate that is not melting. You do need to be careful. Like I said, you don't want things to scorch. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the heat and let the residual heat from the pan below melt the rest of the chocolate. So because the heat is off, I'm going to let this sit for about a minute and then I will come back because that is what could have happened. The bottom of the bowl could have gotten a little bit too hot. And so once chocolate gets a little too hot, it'll sort of, it will seize, it won't burn all the time. It will burn sometimes, but it won't always burn. So what you want to do is just sort of remove it from the heat or just turn off your heat, step away from it, and when you come back, it should smooth out and be all right. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. So I let it sit for a little while. I'm actually going to take it off of the pan just because it's gonna save enough heat for these strawberries, and it doesn't even actually have to be hot um, for the ice cream at all, and maybe even the strawberries. This is my first time using this for strawberries, but because I know that it hardens up nicely, I thought that it would be a nice alternative to just melting plain chocolate. And this does stay sort of liquid at room temperature. Um, you might have to heat it up a little bit depending on, how cool you keep your house, but it's not going to go back to solid like the oil or the chocolate. And these berries might look a little odd to you. You might think they're not ripe, but these were in Aldi and they called them pine berries. And I'm going to say something controversial yet brave. 10 points if you know what that is a quote from. But I do not like strawberries. I like strawberry flavored things, but I do not like strawberries by themselves. So I'm not actually going to be eating these. Um, and Cody honestly isn't the biggest fan of chocolate covered strawberries. So I asked him if he wanted to try these. They called them pine berries. And he just tried one a little bit ago and said that it's like a super sweet strawberry. So there's no more chunks. It is very nice. You also want to make sure if you see a lot of air bubbles, um, to sort of tap it on the bottom, just because you don't want a bunch of air bubbles on your berries. And make sure that your berries are at room temperature before you dip them. I'm sure this is nothing that someone couldn't have just expected to do on their own, but you literally just pick them up, dip them, you let them drip a little bit on the back end of the bowl, and then just place it on. Like I said, this is just wax paper. Um, and you could add sprinkles while this is wet if you wanted to. I'm not going to, just because they're really pretty just plain too. So I'm just going to dip them, leave them plain. Like I said, this is why you want to make sure that you keep the leaves if you can and just roll it around. And this is more than enough for, I'm doing 10 berries here. Um, so it would be more than enough for like a dozen chocolate covered berries. Um, but I am also going to use it for ice cream. So if you put this into an airtight container, it's going to stay good in your pantry or just at room temperature for a very long time. So that is what I'm going to do. And we have no allergies here, so that's why I'm okay just dipping these berries directly into this chocolate that is then going to be saved. Um, if you wanted to scoop out some, like I had thought about putting some in a small bowl and just dipping from that for these, but I decided not to because that would just likely be a mess that I didn't want to clean up. And like I said, this isn't anything new or likely something a lot of you have already done. But some people, it might just be a little intimidating and just easier to go out and buy these, but these can be very expensive. Like mine back in the day, I would pick much larger berries to do mine with, but they were, I think, $15 a dozen. And now I'm finding that that was super cheap for a dozen chocolate covered strawberries. So just trying to save you some money if you've got the time to do this at home for yourself or a loved one, or maybe even just a friend or friends at work. Now, to help these dry, like I said, they will dry at room temperature. And I don't remember if I said it. You want to make sure your berries are room temperature. If not, as they come to room temperature after being dipped, um, they will sweat. And what that will do underneath your chocolate is it will make your chocolate separate from the berry. And it is no fun. I've learned that the hard way. But in order to help these harden quicker for the video, I am going to pop these in the refrigerator real quick for just a few minutes. All right, while the strawberries are in the refrigerator, I am going to scoop up some ice cream. Now it is not even noon, and I do not need a large bowl of ice cream, but I mean, for the video, I have to, make it look good. So we're going to do just a few little scoops. See if I can get one sort of rounded. Okay. So I'm going to put this ice cream away real quick so it doesn't melt. Okay. Now, I'm obsessed with this candy shell. So I like a lot on my, you can see that the chocolate seized up a little bit on the bottom. So I'm just going to mix it a little bit more. Okay. So, like I said, I'm obsessed with this stuff. So I'm going to put a decent amount on my ice cream. But it is just as simple as pouring it over, and the cold from the ice cream is going to make it set. If you were really confident in your ice cream scooping abilities, you could do an ice cream cone and dip that in here. I absolutely would not be brave enough to try that because I would make a mess. So, hopefully you can see it is already, you can see the shininess is going away from over here. So it is already setting up, and it is going to be, oh, well, you can't hear it because the microphone is on my chest, but it is already hard. So, yeah. This I'm going to eat real fast while we wait on the strawberries. It is delicious. You can see that it created the shell. Yeah. So I'm going to eat this real quick. All right, so while I was waiting for the strawberries to come out of the refrigerator, I went ahead and just poured the chocolate into a glass dish that I have a lid for this so that if I do need to warm this up in the microwave, I can do so easily. So here they are out of the refrigerator. You can see they've changed from like the super shiny to now it's kind of a dull finish. So that's when you know that they are hardened and you can easily lift them up off the wax paper. So now I'm just going to take this cute little plate and I'm going to move them over onto that just to make them look cute for serving. You could get like some cute little box, like a little window box or something. if you wanted to sort of do these up more like a gift for someone, put some little wax paper in the bottom, tied up with a cute little ribbon. There you go. It really is that simple. These were in the refrigerator for about 15 to 20 minutes. So I did leave them in there a little longer than I expected just to make sure that the chocolate set up nicely and they would come off of the wax paper. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Um, we'll see. I might have a couple more coming for Valentine's Day themed, but yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.